Hey YouTube, how's it going? Let's start off 2012 with a bang, and this is of course a fragrance haul. If you did see my welcome back video, I told you guys that I purchased 46 bottles in a haul while I was away. And what I decided to do, like I said in that video, I decided that I was going to cut it in half or something like that, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. This video that you're watching right now is going to be the designer side of things in this fragrance haul, and then later on I'm going to shoot the haul video for the niche side of things. So my designer heads, this is a video for you. I believe I have 26 bottles here if my math is correct. From the designer side of things. This haul is a little different from my other hauls. Like you know, I blind buy a lot, especially when I'm overseas. I don't really have a chance to sniff anything out, especially brand new releases. I just purchase them if they seem interesting to me. This haul is based on 2011 releases, and the reason why is I actually purchased these bottles for a certain video, which is going to be my top 10 releases for 2011 and the worst 10 releases of 2011. So there's a lot of these bottles that are basically purchased for that reason alone. So they might not actually be my kind of fragrance or my taste. So let's take a look at them. There's a lot of very interesting fragrances that I'm really interested in getting to know and sniff them out. Now this is of course only my personal opinion on these fragrances. Some might be good, some might be bad. Don't take offense if it's your signature scent. Also, this is only an initial impression. Most of these I have not smelt until this video. Some of these I have smelt a little bit. I'll let you guys know from bottle to bottle basis. So let's get to it. The very first bottle is actually one. I'm going to go through the ones that I actually had during my overseas trip. I might have purchased them at a stop or somewhere. Let's get to it. The first one is from the house of Issey Miyake. This is actually L'Odyssée pour Homme Intense version. I really had my eye on this fragrance for quite a while. This was a blind buy actually. They didn't have a tester. When I was overseas, usually sometimes I have an itch to purchase a fragrance, and from their selection this is the one I was interested in. I wanted to get another Issey Miyake. I really wanted to get something. When I saw Intense, I was like, okay, this might be like a darker fragrance or maybe something a little more pungent or something from the Issey Miyake house. And I've smelt this before, just to let you guys know. I've had it overseas. I've used a little bit, not too much, but I'll give you guys an initial impression by sniffing it. I was really surprised on what I was getting from this one. First and foremost, it is a quality juice. If you're familiar with the Issey Miyake house, most of them are very well balanced, very well done. You can tell that it is quality, and it is going to give you, 6 to 8 hours longevity and things like that. And this one did not disappoint in that type of situation. It is very, very fresh, which really, not that it surprised me, but it was really like a mix between the original and the summer editions. It was like right in the middle of it. So is it an intense version? No, it's actually like a little toned down. The floral is still there, and it does have some woods in here. It's got some sweetness to it, but really what I was looking for is something that was well done, and this is well constructed. I highly recommend it. For somebody that really does like the original or likes the summer editions. This one is a winner, but I really think that it is a redundant release if you do own either one. Purchasing this is really not going to have anything different, I would say, in your game. It's a little different, but not too much. Next is actually a Kenzo fragrance, and this is a funny story. This is Kenzo Power Cologne. When I first started reviewing, I reviewed the Kenzo Power, the original. I gave it glaring marks. I really enjoyed the original, and I really wanted to get the cologne version because I heard actually this one is actually getting a lot more praise than the original, which I felt, okay, this has to be a jewel. And overseas, this was 30 or 25 euro, that's it. So I had to jump on it because it's actually quite hard to find around here. I've been looking around for this fragrance personally, and I couldn't find it. And like I said with the other one, I kind of used quite a bit of juice on this one, especially during winter time. But I found some mild days to wear it. And again, I've worn this a few times, and it does remind me of the original, just to let you guys know. This is a Pudge release, and it's a beautiful citrus. It's actually fresher, a little more watery, of course, more transparent, but I believe it has the same theme as the original. So it's fresh, it's clean. I think it's a little less, they're still both unisex, the original and this one, but This one is really on the fresh side, a summer release. I think this would be really, really good in the high heat. Definitely, I think it's made for the high heat. The next ones I purchased definitely were just something that was a request from a user. And this was the Big Pony line. A lot of users wanted me to purchase these. So I purchased 2 of them. There's no real reason why I got 2 and 3. I know 2 has like it's supposed to be like the Angel Men gourmandish chocolate feel to it, and this one I think is the minty one, so maybe there was a reason why I got 2 and 3. They didn't have testers on these also. I got a good price for these. I think they were like $30 or $35 American for these each, so not bad. These are 2.5 I believe, yeah, 2.5 ounce. These are fragrances that are really not up my alley. This is probably more for like teens or newbies out there. They don't last very long. I've worn both of them and they really don't last on my skin. So I'll let you guys know what I think of them. We'll start off with number 2, the chocolate musky fragrance apparently. And it's very fresh and synthetic off the top. Like you're run of the mill, right? There's some muskiness, there's some faint cocoa-like chocolate in here, but nothing on the degree of an Angel Men or, you know, the heavy hitters. And it's almost like something great for a teen, like just starting out. You know, it's not going to give you longevity projection, it's not going to give you, you know, the quality fragrance that you're looking for, but it is good for first timer or teen if you do enjoy that type of fragrance. Now this guy, little minty guy, the green, number 3. Let's take a sniff at this one. Now this one of course is very green. It's actually really refreshing off the top. Again, same type of theme. It's almost like a watered down version of better fragrances. So number 3, it's green, it's light, it's really plain smelling. There's not much going on. It's nice, but it doesn't last, it doesn't project. You gotta spray like 8 or 9 to even get something out of this. And really that's a waste of money. To be honest with you, 2 and 3, waste of money. So let's take a look at the next one. Actually, this one is a fragrance that I did not have overseas. This is starting into the blind buys here. This one is from the house of Lacoste. I actually purchased 2 fragrances from the Lacoste brand. This one is specifically for the 2011 release video, the best or the worst. I'm not going to let you guys know what it is, but this one is Lacoste L1212 White. They do have the white, the blue, and the green, and then just recently they released the red. So very interesting from the Lacoste brand. I'm not a huge fan of these designer brands releasing like 3-4 fragrances at a time. Usually there's only like one good one, if any. Especially from a brand from Lacoste that really have a hard time making a great fragrance. So Lacoste White, very fresh grapefruit. I smell grapefruit. It's a good summer scent, but again, I've smelt this before and it's decent, guys. I'm not gonna say this is an amazing scent. It's pleasant. I don't know anything about longevity or projection yet. I haven't put it on my skin. This is the first time smelling it. Very fresh fragrance. And from white, I usually, when I picture white, I picture like Chrome, AC Miyake, CK1, like a clean scent. And this is more like a citrusy, clean scent. It's not bad. You know, right now out of 10, I'd probably give it a 4 or 5. Nothing outstanding on the market today. All right, guys, the next one that we're going to tackle today is actually from the house of Cartier. And this, again, a 2011 release. Now, funny story with this one is actually, I first met this fragrance in Dubai, duty free. They had huge, they must have spent tons of money on this, huge display in the middle of the men's and women's section. Nobody really knew it was funny because I was sitting on a bench and nobody really knew if it was a man's or a woman's fragrance because you could tell anybody was really smelling it and they didn't really know, especially the men. I knew it was either unisex or a woman's fragrance right off the bat when I smelt it. And this is Cartier de Lune. And this one was getting a lot of press over there. Definitely a lot of people were smelling it. And this fragrance, again, I just smelt it in the duty free. I gave it a brisk smell. I didn't wear it on my skin or anything. I remember it being actually not bad. And that's why I purchased it again overseas online. And This fragrance, you can tell right off the bat, I can tell right off the bat for the men out there, this is not for you. This is a woman's fragrance. It can be pulled off by a man. There's floral and berries in here. It's like a fresh floral, fruity fragrance for women. And it's actually a really good release for women. I'm impressed with it. I don't think I would really have the balls to wear this, so this is probably going to go to Steph. Because there's a little too much floral in here, but it does have berries up the top. And I can tell that it's actually a quality release from Cartier. So well done from them, and I'm happy that I purchased that fragrance, and Steph could get something out of it. Very, very nice. The next one is actually one that I forgot about. I got this in duty free in Dubai. So this is actually one of the fragrances that I purchased in Dubai. This is a Tom Ford fragrance. From their quote-unquote designer side of things, you know, the Tom Ford for men, the Great Vetiver, and this guy right here, Tom Ford Extreme. And this one, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I've worn it, and I know this thing almost in and out right now because I wore it quite a bit overseas. And this is the best of the bunch right now that I've talked to you guys about. Out of all these, I think I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottles. Not much competition here, but this is the best one out of the bunch right now, out of this haul. I'll spray it on paper just for fun here and give you guys an impression of it. It was very smoky. It's actually very, very warming. Great winter scent. It's got some tobacco, some citrus, but there's smokiness in here. It's well blended. This one is a winner in my books. I really, really like the tobacco in here. Very dark, very well done for winter. This blows Tom Ford for men out of the water. It would actually even give Great Vetiver its run for the money as the best Tom Ford out of the bunch, out of those 3. So well done by Tom Ford. I really, really like this one, and great quality juice. I really recommend you guys sniffing that one out. The best of the bunch right now in this haul. Next, let's take a look at John Varvatos. This is another purchase for 2011 video, and this is John Varvatos Star USA. This is the bottle. Now this is definitely strange, different. You pop the top like this, and you're not going to lose the cap with this guy. This was a blind buy, of course, and this is kind of like in the way, unfortunately. As you can see, the cap's in the way. So I don't know if that's, you know, it's just a gimmick, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not even going to mess with it. So John Varvatos Star USA. I know John Varvatos was bought out by somebody. I'm trying to remember who it was. I could probably find it online. I think it was Arden, Elizabeth Arden. I'm not sure. I'm probably off base. Anyway, John Varvatos was bought out, and basically, not bought out, but they are in connection with another company now for their fragrance game, and that's kind of sending out red flags to me because their John Varvatos line is very, very interesting to me. And this one right here, now this is, and that's what's wrong with this fragrance right now, is that you're running the mill, right? It reminds me of like a Gucci Guilty, like a fresh gingered juniper berry. Not that Gucci Guilty smells like that, but you know, that generic freshness. Not bad. It's a theme that's pretty popular these days. A lot of these designer heads are doing these type of fragrances. I'm not a huge fan of these fresh, generic feeling. And ginger's getting very, very popular right now. And this fragrance is not up to snuff, to be honest with you guys. I'm very disappointed with the John Varvatos line. Yeah, they don't do fresh fragrances very well, and I don't think that this one is a good one from them. I really like the vintage and the original. Coffee time. Next is from the house of Marc Jacobs. Again, a 2011 release. This is their follow-up for Bang. This is Bang Bang. Blue bottle. You know, I'm middle of the road with Bang, right? The Pepper Bomb. I told you guys that when I first bought that, I said, I believe last year it made my top 10 releases for 2010. I think it made it at number 8. I could be wrong. So I was an advocate of it. I think there's more depth to it than the Pepper, but a lot of people are going to hate it just because of that. Now, Bang Bang, very woody off the bat. I can smell the wood. I believe that's sandalwood, to be honest with you guys. I don't think this is cedarwood. It's definitely sandalwood. There's some musk. There's a little bit of pepper in here that gives it a kick, but that could be something else. But it's very nice, and actually I like this one. So another release from Marc Jacobs that I think is actually decent. Bang Bang, definitely check that one out. Now the next one is actually from the house of Lacoste, and I'll be honest with you guys, I purchased this fragrance to make my worst 10 releases of 2011. Again, this is the 2011 release. This is Lacoste Challenge Refresh, and I spent like 50 bucks on this bottle just because I needed something in my worst 10, and I knew this one wasn't going to disappoint. Well, let's hope it doesn't, because I'm going to have problems with that worst 10 release. But let's take a look and see what Lacoste Challenge Refresh gives us. Okay, there's some freshness in here. It's obviously like that, again, that Gucci Guilty feeling. I hate putting Gucci Guilty on the spot there, but it's just like that John Varvatos Star USA. Fresh, a little bit of spice, synthetic, pleasant, but I can tell that this one is not going to go anywhere on my skin. Not that I'm pre-hating on this fragrance. It is pleasant, but I'm thinking that this isn't going to go anywhere on my skin, and it probably is going to make my worst 10, unfortunately, for those challenge fanboys out there. I'm not a big fan of this type of fragrance, so unfortunately Challenge Refresh is a thumbs down from me. Alright, next is from the house of Carolina Herrera, and this one is getting a lot of press lately. A lot of people are jumping on this one. They've actually released two fragrances that are getting a little more hype, CH for Men, and this one right here, 212 VIP Men. And this one is often compared to 1 Million online. Yes, I do a little bit of research. And let's see if it's a clubbing fragrance. You know, 1 Million's a clubbing fragrance, you know, highly synthetic. And right off the bat, yeah, it is your 1 Million replacement. I can smell it right off here. It's definitely potent on the skin, or on the piece of paper. And I feel like this one's actually more bubblegummy than 1 Million. There's a little bit of mint, a little bit of spice in here that maybe sets it apart from 1 Million a little more. I think this one, I don't know if I like this one more than 1 Million, but it would be a good replacement for it. It's very synthetic. I think it's actually worse than 1 Million, to be honest with you. But it's one of those that, you know, hey, look at me type of fragrances, you know, here I am, shouter. Yeah, so that's the type of fragrance you are, and definitely, you know, right off the bat when you smell this, it reminds you of 1 Million. Very, very easy to catch. Next one is from the house of Acqua di Parma. Now, I jumped them into niche and designer. They're a little bit of, you know, I could put them niche or designer either way. I put it on this designer list, and this one is Arancia di Capri. So Arancia, this one, again, this is actually a fragrance that I purchased from my man Miguel Hirozuka. Great guy, definitely somebody, you know, not to be afraid to deal with, especially in purchasing or swaps or whatever. This guy is 100% legit. Great guy. Definitely we miss you online. Hopefully we get to see you again. This one, this blue line, this is actually my first bottle from the blue line. The blue line, from my knowledge, is more summer scents. Arancia, let's take a sniff at it. Well done oranges. Great blast of oranges, very authentic, but I can see this one being very much one-dimensional, you know, like kind of like just an orange blast. It reminds me of that niche fragrance that's just oranges, just one-dimensional. So that's all you're getting. If that's what you want to get, like just a fragrance that smells like oranges, that's what you want to smell like, really fresh during the summertime, I think this one would be a good one. Lasting power, I'm not sure. Probably poor, but you never know. Definitely a great smelling fragrance though for orange lovers out there. You know, this would be like a great replacement for like John Varvatos Artisan, if you like that one, Artisan. This one's probably a better replacement for that one. So let's get to the next fragrances. Alright guys, let's tackle the next one, and this is from the house of Chanel. Now this one is not a 2011 release. This is an oldie, but apparently a goodie. If you ask Dan the Man which Chanel is probably his favorite, he'd probably name off this guy, and this is Chanel's Egoist. And I really wanted to wrap my nose around this one. This one again is you really have to look for this one. I know some Chanel counters don't have this one. They don't carry this one. They carry the Platinum and the Allure line, and that's it. They don't carry this. They don't carry Pour Monsieur. They don't carry the Antheus. So you have to actually look for this one. Now, I've never smelled this fragrance before, and you know, Dan the Man kind of piqued my interest, like probably everybody else on YouTube. So let's smell Egoist, and let's see if this one smells dated, because this is an older Chanel fragrance. I shouldn't have sprayed twice because my paper's super wet. Okay. Okay, like a woody cinnamon spice fragrance, and anything with cinnamon in it is a winner with me. And this definitely has cinnamon, some spice, some woodness. It really evokes a manly fragrance. You know, some fragrances just remind you of a man's fragrance. This is not some girly stuff out here, guys. I got to give it to Dan. This is actually a very much a well-blended, great fragrance from Chanel. Some say this one's actually outdated. I would say this can work, guys. This can work. Probably not to a teenager, we'll say, but somebody in their 30s, 40s, even a 20-year-old, if you really like this type of fragrance. Like a woody cinnamon, like spice, almost boozy, maybe. It's really good. Quality from Chanel, which usually is, but it depends if it's my taste or not. Egoist is actually right up my alley. I really like this one, and I think you know, I'm getting into my 30s and I might be wearing this out a little bit more. So Egoist actually a winner. Let's go to the house of Gucci. Now Gucci, I got beef with Gucci, you know. They released some great fragrances in the 90s, and just the way this brand is going with the Gucci Guilties and the Gucci by Gucci and all these flankers, I'm just not digging Gucci right now. You know, the Gucci put 1 and 2 great fragrances, Gucci Envy. All these fragrances that were released in the 90s from them, you know, they really set the bar high for this fragrance house, and I really thought they were going to be like, instead of being a second tier fragrance house, they were going to actually jump up and be like against the Chanels and the Dior's. And just in the 2000s, they're really disappointing. This one is a 2011 release. This is Gucci Guilty Intense. I have the original, and I decided to get this one, of course, for the 2011 release video. And not bagging it already before smelling it, but I'm really not impressed with the Gucci releases lately for men. And let's smell this one. And again, like what I was saying, this is actually very similar to the original. I would have to take a look at the notes and see if it's actually, you know, there's a lot of similar notes, and maybe this is just an intense version of the original. I'll have to look, but this is really similar, like a fruity opening like the original. Nothing spectacular here, and I'm sorry to bag on Gucci. You know, they have some great fragrances, but this is your run of the mill. And I'm very disappointed with Gucci lately with their fragrances. So let's get on to the next one, and this is one from the house of Calvin Klein. Now Calvin Klein is another house like Gucci that I'm not even going to start. CK is definitely, like, these years just not doing very well, and this one is their newest release for men. It's a 2011 release, CK1 Shock. First and foremost, the packaging on this one is utterly horrible. Why do I have a gray cap on a black bottle? I'm not sure. The green font, I don't know. I think this is really bad by marketing by CK. Let's smell this one. Let's see if it's another CK1 clone. Yeah. This is nicely done from CK. I'm surprised, or more or less shocked. Shock is actually a good word for it. Tobacco, darker, tobacco lavender combo. I can smell lavender. Well blended, very surprised. I'm actually really shocked. Well done Oriental from CK. You know, and this is of course off just an initial sniff on a piece of paper, but this is probably one of the better CK releases in years. So CK1 Shock, packaging, marketing, probably shit. It doesn't really remind me of CK1 in any bit. I really think they should have just released this in its own genre with a different bottle, definitely with the cap and everything. It's horrible marketing. Good juice. I definitely, if you see this in bargain bins, which could happen, give it a sniff, guys. Definitely, I'm impressed with this one. Next is from the house of Hugo Boss. Now, Hugo Boss always releases a fragrance every year. There's no doubt about it. They usually release a fragrance almost every month. And this is from their Hugo line. This is Hugo Just Different. Now, is this a new theme? Black, red font, gray cap? I don't know. It's 2011 mumbo jumbo here. I don't know. But this is, of course, Hugo Just Different. And there's a lot of press going on with this guy right here. It's starting to get a lot of buzz, and I really wanted to jump on this 2011 release and see what I think about it. This one, let's smell it. Green apple right off the bat. Very green. I can detect green apple. There's a pine needle feel to it, so very, very green. There could be some mint in here. That could be the green apple just giving it some, I think there's mint in here. Mint, pine needle, green apple feel. Not a huge fan of this, to be honest with you. I don't think these notes go well together, even though it's all green, right? Green theme. Not what I was expecting from Hugo Just Different. I'm on the fence on this one. It's all right. I'm not going to recommend that to anybody at any time soon. Next is, let's show this next bottle that I was showing, Armani Code Sport. This one, interesting enough, I smelt it when it first came out and I wasn't impressed. I smelt it right out of the bottle and I was like, no, I didn't purchase it. Now this is, of course, another purchase for the 2011 video, and the thing you get off this is a minty citrus right off the bat. Now this smells like a carbonated drink. It smells like ginger ale, 7-Up, Sprite. It smells like that. I don't know if that's pleasant to some people. To me, I like mint, and there is mint in here. And citrus is okay, depending on how you do it, but it smells really carbonated, and I'm not really feeling this at all. It's not up my alley. I know some people would really like this fragrance, so if you're into, you love the smell of Sprite 7-Up, you think it's refreshing, take a look at this one. It's actually, good for you, I would think. For me, not one of my favorites. Now let's take a look at the YSL L'Homme line. Yes, I purchased both 2011 release. This is Cologne Gingembre and this is L'Homme Libre. Let's go with Gingembre first and then Libre. Libre is getting a lot of bashing lately and Gingembre is getting some love. Let's smell this guy. Gingembre. Of course, gingembre meaning ginger. It's fresher than the original. I think this is really a redundant release. I think the original is perfect for summer. I don't know why you'd release something so close to the original. Yeah, it's a little more watery. It's fresher than the original. This might be great in high heat, but I really think it's a redundant release from YSL, and I don't really recommend anybody really looking into this fragrance at all. All right, let's take a look at the second release from YSL, and this is L'Homme Libre. I kind of like this bottle presentation, to be honest with you. L'Homme Libre is getting a lot of hate, lots. And I'm not a bandwagoner at any rate, but I will tell you the truth if I think it's a poor fragrance or a great fragrance. L'Homme Libre, let's smell it. I could smell fruitiness right off the bat. It's very much in your face, a sweetness. It reminds me of Black Excess. Less sweet, a little less synthetic than that. This is not going to be a winner on niche heads or anybody that's really looking into heavy scents. This is probably good for younger kids. I think this would be a winner for like teenagers, college kids. He's got that sweet tooth going. I'm going to go against the grain and say this is pretty good. I don't think this has any relation with L'Homme, so they can actually stop doing L'Homme flankers, please. But like from a house from YSL with M7, the Rive Gauche and L'Homme and La Nuit de l'Homme and all that, this might be, you might be looking at this as a loss for them. This is not a good fragrance compared to all those fragrances that do have a huge following. But to me, this going against like Hugo Just Different or Armani Code Sport and the big ponies and stuff like that, this is actually a decent release for a sweet fragrance for a young kid. So you gotta, you know, gauge what you're looking at. For me, yeah, this might not be for me, but it might be for you. I think this is actually a quality fragrance. So let's take a look at another fragrance. This is again from the house of Acqua di Parma, and this is Mandorlo di Sicilia. So again, from the blue line. And I believe this is a vanilla-based fragrance. I remember looking at the notes when I purchased this from Miguel, which is again another fragrance that I purchased from him. And I believe I saw vanilla on this one. This is very, very nice. You can tell that there's a nutty almond-like feel to this. There's vanilla, of course. It's very sweet. I'd almost categorize this not as a sweet fragrance, but more like a creamy fragrance. Again, the blue line is almost, I thought, was only for summer fragrances, but this one is more, I don't think it has the balls to go into the winter and be a winter powerhouse because of the vanilla, but I think this would be great for fall, start of fall, or the start of spring. Nicely done by Acqua di Parma. But I don't think that should be in the blue line, but that's just my opinion. Let's get on to the next one. These are the end of my bulk purchase here, and these are probably the all-stars of the bulk purchase. These are the ones that I'm looking forward to the most. This is from the house of Caron now. This house, of course, could be niche or designer. I put in the designer down. This is Yuzu, and this is their summer fragrance, their summer release, and it's going to be using the citrus fruit of Yuzu as a base for this fragrance. So let's smell this one. Caron makes pretty good fragrances, I'll be honest with you guys. They have a rich history, and let's smell this guy. Okay, fresh citrus, woods, some fruit in here. Really refreshing, not too different. I really feel like this is almost like their Eau Sauvage, you know, Dios Eau Sauvage, like a classic citrus feel. I really think this is a good fragrance for the summer. I'm really interested in delving into Yuzu Man and see what I get from it, but well blended, well done from the house of Caron. Next is from the house of Dsquared, and this is finishing up my He Wood line, and this is Silver Winwood. This guy right here, 2011 release. And you know, right now this He Wood line, you know, I'm not a huge advocate of flankers. You know, going through He Wood and then doing, you know, Rocky Mountain and all those. But He Wood's been doing very good on this theme. I'm really enjoying these ones. Rocky Mountain Wood's my favorite. Let's smell this one. And this is a lavender meets incense start to it. There's some woods in here. There's a little bit of spice. Well blended, interesting. I haven't really been disappointed from this house. You know, like He Wood wasn't really like the best fragrance to me. It's more like a 6 or a 7 on the Richter scale of a 10. And then you go to Rocky Mountain Wood, which is almost I think is a 9 or almost a 10 out of the line. So this house really isn't disappointing me. This is really interesting. And this one's going to keep me interested like Rocky Mountain Wood. I'm really looking forward to testing this one on my skin and see what I get from it. So Silver Winwood, good one from Dsquared. Next is from the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier. And of course, not a Le Male flanker for once. This one is called Cocorico. And this is the bottle, of course, looks like a Le Male bottle from the side. And then, of course, you got a face right here. And this one, blind buy, excited, you know, a brand like Jean-Paul Gaultier, you know, they got their bread and butter, which is Le Male. Usually their other releases are, you know, you can't beat Le Male as far as sales or as a quality, because Jean-Paul Gaultier usually don't use the best ingredients in their fragrances. So you really need to hit a jackpot to get a great fragrance out of them. So Cocorico, let's smell it. This is really getting compared to L'Instant de Galin Extreme, which is, getting so much hype that I feel like punching myself in the face once or twice. Let's smell this one. I can smell figs in this. Figs, cocoa, a little bit of woods. I'm not sure if figs and cocoa mix. You know, if you ever smelled a fig-based fragrance, very watery, fig leafy, very, very nice. But then you mix it with a darker cocoa, it almost smells like a wet basement. It smells like patchouli. I don't know if there's patchouli in here. I'm smelling patchouli now. And that might be a huge drawback, but I definitely smell figs, cocoa. I can't compare this to L'Instant d'Extrême, L'Instant de Guerlain, unless it's the dry down. I haven't really looked at why people are, because I know L'Instant de Guerlain does not have figs in it, and this has figs, heavy patch in here. So interesting, very different. Definitely not a blind buy. I would not recommend blind buying Cocorico, especially at the price it's going at right now and how hard it is to find. I would really just wait till it's available at a discounted rate, to be honest with you guys. I'm really not impressed with Cocorico. A very, very different fragrance. Heed my warning, different. Next is from the house of Dsquared, and this one is not a He Wood flanker. This is actually Potion. Now this one is a highly regarded fragrance from Dsquared. A lot of people really wanted this one. This one comes in 2 concentrations, so be very careful when you're purchasing this online. There is an eau de toilette and there is an EDP. I got the EDP, that's the one I wanted. So this is the one I'm smelling, not the eau de toilette. And I'm very excited about Potion. Let's smell it. Yeah, this is more my league, guys. This is very, very nice. This is warm, woody. You can smell the wood. You can smell some cinnamon in here. This cinnamon, I'm a sucker for cinnamon, sorry. It reminds me of going into, like, I'm from a small town. There's like these specialty shops around town that do like woodworks. You know, they have a lot of woody stuff that they make. And it's small stores with like almost incense burning in the background. They make like maybe specialty teas or candles and stuff like that. You know, those type of like little stores like that. That's what this reminds me of. Like spices, wood, that type of store. And I really, really like this. This is right up my alley. Now, if I was buying designer, Potion would be the one. This is absolutely gorgeous. Definitely highly recommended from me. Let's get to the next one. This is the highly regarded Angel Men Flanker 2011 released. Taste of Fragrance. Chili, amen. Let's smell this sucker. Let's see what kind of spice we get from this. Okay, chili pepper meets Angel Men. I can definitely smell the pepper right away, the chili pepper right off the get-go, like chili paste, right? There's a coffee note in here. The coffee note, of course, from Angel Men is actually enhanced in here. I'm really smelling the coffee and the spice going head to head. I'll be honest, this smells like a spicy pure coffee, more than Angel Men, the original release. So if you really enjoy pure coffee, this one would be one to get. But again, you need to like that spicy hit. It's definitely in there. It's definitely unique, strange actually. I don't know if anybody would actually love this. It's very different, not a blind buy. I like it. I'm not in love with it, but that's me and Thierry Mugler right now are butting heads. Most of his releases are either good right now and I have to learn to love them. And this one right now is one of those. It's not love at first sight, we'll say. And last but not least is a woman's fragrance. This is Alien. This is the taste of a fragrance also. Alien. This one is supposed to have caramel on top of the original Alien. I got this for Steph actually. And very floral fragrance. I wouldn't really recommend this for men. It smells like the original Alien with caramel on top. It's got that caramelly feel. Very, very nice. And I think this would be a good one to get your girlfriend, to be honest with you. It's pricey though. I think this is like a Canadian. I think Miguel got this for me and I think it was like $100 for this like little 30 ml. Yeah, caramelly original Alien. Very floral, nicely blended, but for more so for a woman than a man. So this is my fragrance haul for January 2012. Designer, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Keep it locked in, and I'm gonna have my niche bottles ready to go for you guys. I'm gonna give you guys my first impression on those. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe you got a few ideas from me here, and hopefully you enjoyed the 2011 releases. So YouTube, see you guys later.